What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another pregame prediction video. It's week 5, and we got a rivalry on our hands. We got the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, here we go. Here's it out for Lamb. He's got it. He's gone. This is history. It's never happened in the history of the NFL.
Well, welcome back to another pregame prediction video. It is week 5. We are officially done with the quarter of the season, and we are heading into new ground, new month, new opponents, and we got ourselves another AFC North opponent, which is kind of wild when you think about it. The fact that we've already played 3 of them, or we're about to play 3 of them, and we don't play the Bengals till December 9th, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, week 17. No, I think it's like week 14 or week 15, but I know it's on Monday night. But here we go. Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers are 3-1, which is kind of surprising. I thought they were going to be 4-0, and I was going to be super hyped for this matchup, man. Like, everyone was going to be like, oh, the Steelers are undefeated. I was like, well, just wait. But I still carry that same excitement. Pittsburgh Steelers, 3-1. Dallas Cowboys, 2-2. Sunday Night Football. And, man, we had to wait until week 5 to get our first Sunday Night Football matchup. We barely got a prime game week 4, Cowboys and Giants on Thursday Night Football, but it's okay. It goes back to what I've said since the season prediction video, is this is a year the Cowboys are going to fly under the radar. The Cowboys are going to fly under the radar. They're not going to be front runners. They're going to be at that 500 mark most of the season. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch my season prediction video, because so far I am right, y'all. I predicted we were going to be at 2-2. We're at 2-2. Now, this is a game. Let's revisit that season prediction video, because this is a game, I'm going to be honest, I originally chose that we were going to lose. Now, in making that video, I did not account for the fact that obviously Micah Parsons was going to be out for this game. DeMarcus Lawrence was going to be out for this game. We didn't know what the quarterback situation was going to be in Pittsburgh, Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. On top of that, I didn't know we were going to low-key have a mini bye week. I totally forgot about that. Didn't see that on the schedule, where Thursday night gives us a lot of time going until Sunday night. That plays a factor into everything. But regardless, I originally said that we lost the game, but I may feel different. And I'm not buying in. Look. I'm not buying in. I'm not saying the Cowboys are this and that. I'm just saying this game is winnable. I'm just saying this game can be won. And I can't remember exactly when Mike said it, but Mike said something along the lines during the offseason. If y'all can find the article, post it down below. But Mike said something along the lines like, we're not going to have blowouts anymore. Like, it's not going to be a blowout season. You're going to see a lot of these close contested games. And for some reason, I want to see that. It's going to make you pull your hair. It's going to make you sweat. It's going to make you bite your nails. But something about winning close games and being in close games prepares you better for the postseason than just blowing out every opponent that you see. I don't know. That's what I think. But anyways, for a lot of youngsters out there, you're going to hear old heads say Cowboys and Steelers, oh my God, it's a rivalry. Well, it kind of is. Cowboys currently lead the all-time record 16-14, and these two teams have met in the Super Bowl 3 times. That's where the historic rivalry comes from. Steelers, 6-time world champs. Cowboys, 5-time world champs. Steelers have earned 2 of those championships by beating the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Now, the Cowboys, last Super Bowl they won, we all know, 1995, it was against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So these two teams, it's a rivalry. It's like, it's not just like a division rivalry. It's like these teams meet in the Super Bowl, or they did. Since then, really hasn't been much of a rivalry, in my opinion. But that's where it comes from. A little history lesson. If you want to know, why is this such a rival? Why are people saying this is a rival? Well, they used to battle it out in Super Bowls. And so anyways, let's jump into this. Cowboys-Steelers. Last time these two teams played, 4 years ago, 2020, COVID year, Mike's first year as a head coach. No Dak Prescott, lost him to injury. You're probably thinking, oh, Andy Dalton stepped in, right? That was the year he was a quarterback. No! Andy Dalton was not playing this game. It was Garrett Gilbert. It was the Garrett Gilbert game, and the Steelers were undefeated, man. That was they were front runners. I mean, they were the Philadelphia Eagles before the Eagles were the Eagles, and they were 8-0, and they had fooled everybody, and the Cowboys lost that game 24-19. They were at 2-7 after that loss. But dadgummit, that was a close game, y'all. That was a close game. Cowboys actually had a little bit of a lead there for a bit and almost pulled off the upset. Exciting year. I put it in my tweets. If you're not following me on X, follow me on X, Tony Goat Romo. I said, I don't care what y'all say, but the Red Rifle season was underrated. That was some fun football. Obviously, we didn't make the playoffs, but it was fun, man. I enjoyed myself that season. Anyways, last time we won, though, last time the Dallas Cowboys defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers, it was a wild one. It was outrageous, and everyone still talks about this game. It's a classic, and I encourage you, if you haven't seen it, go watch it, like all of it. Don't just watch the highlights. Watch the entire game. 2016, Dak and Zeke's rookie year. Steelers were 4-4. Cowboys were 8-0 or 7-1 going into this game, and the Cowboys won in the final moments. I mean, this game was ridiculous. Just games like that don't happen, I feel like, anymore. I mean, this was an insane game. Roethlisberger to AB on the fake spike, and then Zeke comes back, wins it with a few seconds remaining. Just nuts. And it's something that we never forget. I mean, Dak was still a rookie, right? Zeke was a rookie. It was just pure insanity. Dez caught a big touchdown. Just, you talk about classic games, and I'm sure when all is said and done with Dak's career, that's the one that is going to be talked about. And I mean, that 2016 season was special. You can pinpoint the Packers game. You can pinpoint the Sunday Night Football game against the Eagles, but like this Cowboys-Steelers game, this was a huge game, and I think that's when kind of everyone, the blinders turned off, and we're like, whoa, hey, I think this team could be the real deal, because at that point they were 8-1. But that's the history lesson between the Cowboys and Steelers. But something interesting. I know we always talk about quarterback showdowns. We always talk about running back showdowns. We always talk about offense versus defense. But let's talk about coaches versus coaches for a second, because you got something pretty interesting right here. You got Mike versus Mike. And I think if you kind of just tune into the general NFL community, I think there's just been this ongoing debate about, is Mike McCarthy better than Mike Tomlin, and vice versa? Is Tomlin better than McCarthy, or are they just low-key the same head coach? And if you look a little bit deeper, oh my gosh, the stats are similar and bizarre more than anything. I mean, Tomlin, 176 wins, McCarthy, 169 wins. We talk about postseason, Tomlin's under 500 at 8-10, Mike McCarthy's at 11-11. And you talk about Super Bowl wins, one for each of them. And if we're talking about head-to-head matchups, Mike Tomlin currently leads the showdown here, the contest between the two, 4-1. Now, the one win that Mike McCarthy has got was probably arguably the most important one, and it was Super Bowl 45 at AT&T Stadium. McCarthy won the Super Bowl. And you could probably make the debate here that both coaches have made a career their quarterbacks, their Hall of Fame quarterbacks, have helped them establish a career for themselves. Mike Tomlin had Ben Roethlisberger, who's a future Hall of Fame quarterback. Mike McCarthy had Aaron Rodgers, future Hall of Fame quarterback. So you look at these two coaches, I mean, virtually, the stats are there. I mean, they're so similar. And then you kind of just look at their playoff success. I think Mike Tomlin started in 2006 and Mike McCarthy started in 2007. The only discrepancy that you have is obviously the year later that McCarthy started, but McCarthy also took a year off after being fired by the Packers. So very similar head coaches, man. And it's just going to be another chapter between these two coaches. And their hands are full. I mean, this is a game where coaching is obviously going to come into play. You look at the Steelers, they're not as talented as they have been. I mean, they've been kind of flying under the radar most seasons, not really having much of a postseason impact or a lot of regular season success. And when I say that, I'm not saying that they're a bad team. I'm just saying when you look at the Cowboys the past 3 years, you're like, oh, they've won 36 regular season games. You can't necessarily say the same about the Steelers because they've had a lot of issues and question marks with the quarterback position. And so this is, Mike Tomlin's going to have to coach up his guys to get another win. Mike McCarthy is going to have his hands full and the spotlight's on because everyone's going to be watching. This is primetime football. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is an important game. I don't have to tell you that, but I'm going to remind you, this is a hella important game for the Dallas Cowboys sitting at 2-2, because if we pull up the schedule right here, look at who we play. We play the Detroit Lions, who are 3-1, and we've beaten in the past 2 years. And third time's a charm for Detroit. And then we get a bye week, thankfully, and then we take on the 49ers in Santa Clara. And then we take on the Falcons, who have been surprising and good this year. And then we take on the Eagles, and then we take on the Texans, and then we take on the Commanders, who are looking really good in the NFC East. So this game is important. I mean, you look at those other games. Cowboy fans, if you're being unbiased and realistic, we all know we want the Cowboys to win. But if you're sitting down and looking at that, you're like, I don't know. Beating Detroit's going to be tough. Beating the 49ers is going to be tough. Yeah, that's going to be tough. Beating Houston, beating Atlanta. I mean, those are all tough games. But if you look at the Steelers game, it's winnable. It's something that's manageable. Now, obviously, the Dallas Cowboys are down a few players. We'll get into that. But this is an important game. Because in my mind, I'm hoping, and I'm just telling you straight up, we win this game. Detroit, I don't know if we're going to win that game. So if you can go to the bye week 3-3, have Micah rested up so that we come back and play San Francisco, you know what? I like our odds. I like where we are if we're 3-3. But if you lose this game and then you lose to Detroit, 2-4, going into the bye week, that hot seat, it's steaming. But anyways, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Let's go ahead and jump on into this pregame prediction video. Cowboys defense versus the Steelers offense. Throw up the stats right there. Their offense, 15th in the league, 20th passing, 9th rushing, and our defense, 26th in the league. Now, okay, let's get this right off the bat. Steelers like to run the ball. Cowboys are not really good at defending against running the ball. However, the Cowboys did have a better effort against the Giants, only allowing 26 rushing yards compared to the 200 plus that they allowed against the Ravens and the 190 plus that they allowed against the Saints. So good job. Do it again. And you're going to have to do it against a run-heavy personnel and a run-heavy offense. Oh, boy. And that could cause trouble, because the last two times that we've seen a run-heavy personnel and a run-heavy offense, it was the Saints and it was the Ravens, and we all know what happened. So you're getting that again with the Steelers. Now, why would this be different? Why would this be different? Well, look, the Steelers aren't the Ravens, and the Steelers aren't the Saints. The Steelers don't have the talent at the quarterback position, so therefore that's a vulnerability that the Cowboys can attack. Now, we're not going to have Micah Parsons, who can infiltrate that pass rush and initiate it, but we do have other guys that could step in. And look, Jerry is all about, we like our guys. Well, that's a Stephen Jones impression. But Stephen, we like our guys. This is a day, this is a night where our guys need to perform well. I mean, we're out DeMarcus Lawrence. We're out Micah Parsons, most likely. I mean, he could make he could make a huge comeback Sunday morning. And Mr. Miyagi can do his work on Micah Parsons, and Micah Parsons runs out the tunnel. Who knows? But right now, we're preparing with, I know DeMarcus Lawrence is definitely out. He's been put on IR for 4 weeks. Micah's still a question mark. But Micah, just sit out. Sit out to the bye week. It's early in the season. We don't want to lose you for the whole season. But this is a game that I think, and I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm not going to wait till the game prediction. This is a game where I think Cowboy fans can buy in again. I know it's the Steelers. But if our young guys can go out there and prove themselves and have solid, strong games and contribute to a win, that is going to be something we're very proud about as Cowboys Nation, knowing our boys stepped up, next man up mentality. And this is a perfect opportunity. Mozzie Smith can build off of the great game that he had against the Giants. Marshawn Nealon can emerge as that potential replacement for DeMarcus Lawrence, and especially with Sam Williams being out for the season. And DeMarvion Overshown has been a highlight tape so far, can really put his name on this game having a spectacular game, and I think that's all possible. I'm looking at those three guys. That are really in that front seven that could really change the tempo of this game if they could really establish who they are. And we all know this, but like this Cowboys season was going to be dictated about how much of that potential is filled by these young guys. And here's your opportunity here. Here's your chance here on the road, Sunday Night Football, to make a name for yourself. And look, preseason's over, y'all. First 4 games are out of the way. I don't care. Players don't play in the preseason, so you spend the first 4 weeks figuring things out. It's over. Preseason's over. You went 2-2. It's a new season. It's 0-0 right now. What do you got? And I think the Cowboys are slowly, like I said, been getting more familiar, learning a little bit more about themselves. That seed that was planted in training camp is coming a little bit more into fruition. So therefore, I don't think this game's going to be a blowout. I don't think the Steelers are going to run all over this defense. I like our guys. And Steven maybe has got me saying it right now, but I like our guys and I believe in them to do it, especially because we cannot lose a game against this man. Arthur Smith, offensive coordinator, previous head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. If you lose, and if Arthur Smith runs over 150 yards and puts 30 points up on you, I'll never forgive this defense. I'll never forgive this team if this happens on Sunday Night Football. For good God, I'm watching this game with friends and family. Don't embarrass me like that. So I believe, we're talking about coaching matchups. Arthur Smith versus Mike Zimmer. I feel like this is something that will go back and forth. And I feel like Mike Zimmer, this is a place he can be comfortable in. Again, no Shanahan tree. So the Cowboys got a chance here. And you just can't get out coach right here. But like I said, Pittsburgh leads the NFL in rushing attempts. You got to stop it. You can't let people run all over you all season long, because if they do, they will win. And they will beat you, and it won't be pretty. It'll be a blowout. So Cowboys have got some pride here, and they're going to build on the success that they had against the Giants, and I like the odds here. I mean, the Steelers got some weapons, right? They got Najee Harris. They got George Pickens. They got weapons, but I think I like the matchup. I like our matchup here, and for those that are believing that this game is far-fetched and I don't know how the Cowboys are going to pull this out, look, if you look at this game and if you study it, this game is winnable. Now, Detroit, San Francisco, that's another story, and we'll get to that. But week 5 here, we focus week by week. You got the extra couple of days for playing on Thursday Night Football. You're a little well-rested. You have some time to prepare. Steelers are coming off of a loss. Even though they're 3-1, are they actually a 3-1 team? The Cowboys can get this. But let's go ahead and jump into defensive predictions here. I believe we continue to see that consistent effort from the run defense. I believe there's going to be no 200-plus rush yards. I don't believe there's going to be 190 rush yards at all. I believe the Cowboys are going to have a consistent effort. I do believe they're going to allow more than 26 yards, but it's going to be a consistent, good effort from this defense, and they're going to improve. Next thing I got a forced fumble. I think this game's going to be physical, man. And Zimmer's got to be coaching these guys like, this game's going to be physical. You got to rip the ball. You got to punch that ball out. I believe we get a forced fumble. If I could put a name on it, give me Overshown. I think Overshown has a great game, man. I mean, this is the way to show out. Last but not least, we're going to hold the Steelers under 20 points. And that's important because if you can hold the team under 20 points, and if your offense can score more than 20 points, 3 touchdowns, you should win the game. So that's what I got for this defense. Those are my defensive predictions. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe as we go into this Cowboys offense versus the Steelers defense. Cowboys offense, 11th in the league, 3rd in passing. Oh boy, Dakota is number 1 in the league with passing yards, which is just shades of 2020 season. And 30th in rushing. Oh, man. I love it. The days when Mike McCarthy, remember when he told us, he's like, we're going to run the ball. We're going to make it a point. We're going to make it an issue to run the ball. Well, look where we are. and if you guys follow me on Instagram, and if you haven't followed me, but funny stat, strange but true, CeeDee Lamb is still the only Cowboy on the roster who's had the longest run this year of 12 yards. I mean, we got a running back committee. We got Rico, we got Hunter Lipke, we got Zeke. And no one's run more than 12 yards, which is just pathetic. Defense, on the other hand, the Steelers are 7th, so that's going to be a tough matchup. You got to run the ball in this game. And I think this would have been a great game to see Dalvin Cook. But that old man, Jerry Jones, has said already on 105.3 The Fan, I don't think it's going to happen this week, which sucks because this is a game you need the run. Anytime you're playing an AFC North opponent, anytime you're playing the steel curtain, that defense, you got to run the ball. And Mike knows that too. I mean, he's from Pennsylvania, right? Like his roots are there in Pittsburgh. So he knows that's how you win games, especially in a game like this. You got to run the ball. So say a prayer with me. Someone needs to run that ball on Sunday night. I hope it changes last minute and they activate Dalvin Cook. I don't know if, to be honest, I don't think they will just because the lack of defensive weapons at the moment with no Micah and no Tank. They're probably going to pull resources that way. But got to make it a point to run the ball. I'm just going to put that out there. I don't know if that's technically going to happen because I just don't know if we actually have the personnel for that. But this would have been a great game to run the ball. And, hey, man, this could have been a great game to have freaking Derrick Henry. But look where, that ship has sailed. But anyways, I wanted to get this off my chest. This game, unfortunately and fortunately, is on number 4, Rain Dakota Prescott. And I believe that this is the game that will make Dak haters, Dak critics, kind of sit back and realize, oh, that's why he's here. Oh, that's why we paid him that much. Oh, that's why number 4 wears the star on his helmet for the Dallas Cowboys. I believe this is that game because the front office isn't helping you. I mean, it's not doing you any favors, giving you a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, running back or anything. I mean, they're not doing you any favors. Basically, what I'm asking Dak to be on Sunday night is I need him to be superhuman and I need him to be Romo-esque and just take control. Because, no running backs, no wide receiver 2, no wide receiver 3. I mean, your coach gets his plays from Madden. This game is all on number 4, fortunately and unfortunately. But this is why we paid him. I know we're putting a lot on him. I get that. But this is the game that's going to help us realize and show everyone in the league, especially Cowboys Nation. You know what's crazy? People in the league give their respects to Dak Prescott. Every time you hear a coach talk about it in pregame throughout the week, they're like, oh, yeah, Dak's good. Dak's great. He's one of the best in the league. It's just crazy the amount of criticism that comes isn't from the National Football League and his peers and the coaches. It comes from Cowboys Nation. And I wonder why that is. Fill in the blank. Regardless, this game, I believe, is going to turn Dak haters into lovers. I believe this game is going to turn Dak critics into Dak fans. I also believe this is going to turn Dak pessimists into Dak optimists. Number 4, show out. Number 4, this is your game. I know the front office and organization is not helping you one bit, but you're going to show out. And number 88 is going to help you. And honestly, it might just be the 2 of them that's going to win us this ball game here. But you're going to see it, and he's going to prove you because this is going to be a game that's going to be very winnable. Now, let me also say this from an analytical point of view. This game is very similar on paper to what we saw in Week 1 against the Cleveland Browns. In the Browns game, solid defense. Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. Great secondary. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Historically, good defense. 7th in the league right now. Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt. Tough secondary led by Minkah Fitzpatrick. Well, I mean, similarly, this looks a lot like the Week 1 matchup that we had against the Cleveland Browns. And what happened in Week 1? And I would argue that the Cleveland Browns have more weapons on offense than the Pittsburgh Steelers do right now. What happened? 33-17. Cowboys didn't even give the Browns a chance. Now, I don't think it's going to be that type of game, but I'm just bringing that up to show you that if someone comes up to you and says, like, the Cowboys have no chance, they have a chance. They've played this game already. They played a game like this in Week 1. And once again, they're road warriors. They're road warriors. They're 2-0 on the road. And, I mean, they're better on the road at home right now. Regardless, let's go into our offensive predictions. I believe we get a Zeke touchdown. Yeah, I think Zeke gets in at the goal line. I think Cavante Turpin gets a touchdown on Sunday night. And last but not least, CeeDee Lamb's going to have a big day. I don't know if it's going to be 100 yards. I mean, he's gotten pretty close. He's had some pretty big games this season. He hasn't hit that 100-yard mark. But believe it, he's going to be effective, and we're going to get him the ball because that's going to give us a chance to win. Once again, thank you so much for hanging out and watching this pregame prediction video. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And, of course, check out this video. Check out the Madden prediction. And be sure to follow me on X, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. So here we go, game prediction. Week 5, Dallas Cowboys, Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers 3-1, Cowboys 2-2. This is a must-win. So early in the season, and with the status of Micah Parsons up in the air and DeMarcus Lawrence going on IR, this defense needs to win this game, and this Cowboys team, it's a must-win for them. Because if you look at the strength of the schedule after this, you got Detroit, you got San Francisco. This is a game that is winnable compared to those. This is a game that is achievable. So this game is a must-win. It's a very significant, important game to your whole season. And it's going to be gutsy. It's going to be messy. They're going to have to claw and fight, and it's not going to be pretty. The Cowboys are going to have to earn this. They're going to make some mistakes. They're going to let some touchdowns happen. They're going to let some big plays happen. But if you can come out with the win, like I said, I think this is a win that Cowboys Nation will be able to hang their hat on, where our young players rise and stand up and help this team and contribute to a win. I'm feeling pride in this game. I'm feeling that the Dallas Cowboys have an opportunity to prove themselves and get a very tough road win against a very tough, physical Pittsburgh Steelers. So with that being said, the Cowboys are underdogs by 1.5 points going into Pittsburgh on Sunday night. Cowboys are 2-0 on the road this year so far, and they're 0-2 at home, which means this team can ball out on the road. They know how to scrap. They know how to get in the trenches and earn a win and don't look pretty, but they know how to do it. So I believe Cowboys are underdogs, and they win. I believe the Cowboys upset, according to Vegas, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they get a win on the road on Sunday night. Final score I'm predicting is the Cowboys win 26-19. Well, thank you so much for watching and tuning in for another pregame prediction video. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. You guys are awesome, and you've been so amazing in building this community, whether it's on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, or X. I appreciate it. But other than that, I will see you guys Sunday for the post-game reaction video. Like I said early in the video, I will be watching this game with some family. So the post-game reaction video will be a little bit later, but that post-game reaction, the short one that I post on TikTok and Instagram, that should be out pretty soon right after the game. But me sitting in front of the camera will come later because I got to come back home. But just want to let you guys know that. It'll be up, though. But let's go ahead and cheer on our Dallas Cowboys. This is a big game, important game, and I believe they can win it. What do you guys think? Comment down below. I will see you guys Sunday after the game. Go Cowboys.
Yeah, here we go.